Welcome to a Fresh Perspective podcast, brought to you by Corbion.
Back to the task at hand of the 2020 trends and what we are seeing and where we are going. One question I had that while we were talking about our Eat Safe gifts, so when we're talking about convenience and this expedited time, and then people always looking for, snacks or quick things, do you think that, and this is just, we don't have, it's your opinion, but do you think that is the same during these times where we're in isolation? Like, I know for me, it's been pretty different. I'm not necessarily looking for those on-the-go snacks or things that are super quick.
Yeah, me too. It's totally changed.
Yeah. No, I think during the pandemic, that's probably true because it's not as free and easy to be able to go and just pick something up. You're not in a convenience store and it's like, oh, I'm going to grab that. Oh, this is great for lunch. It's fast. Those things. But I think afterwards, hopefully in the near term, I think it'll go back to that and more so because of the urbanization trend. It really means that people are moving to the cities. They're more moving faster around the world. Hopefully we're all traveling again. And you need those bite-sized items and you need that nourishment. And that's what I was talking about earlier about the snacking trend is people are using that as their meal. It's just replacing what they would normally have had a sit-down lunch or a breakfast. They're on the go, and those things will definitely still be a staple, I think. Well, it's remained to be seen, but yeah.
So as we talk about that urbanization and, people moving to these city cores, are we seeing a rise in, some of these worldly ethnic culture type items where people are coming from all around the world and all around the country and moving into these urban cores? Yeah. Are we seeing a rise in some of those products and their popularity?
Oh, for sure. One of the largest macro trends that I also have that I do a lot of research around is called evolving landscapes. Really, that one was about just what you're talking about. It's about international flavors, globalization, the moving around and picking up different traditions and things of that nature. I still think that, it's still a very strong macro trend. All those trends that are related to that are. But I think that people are going to definitely go back to, remember when I was in Italy and I had this particular item? They're going to want to bring that back and seek comfort in that. So anything that brings cultural recognition, it could be maybe local if they live in an ethnic neighborhood or something of that nature. The people that live here that have come from other countries, the migration, things of that nature are not going to stop. I think they're going to flood to areas where they may not be comfortable in, and so they're going to get to know a lot of those international flavors.
And I know me and my friends totally do that. Like either we're always trying to recreate something we had while on vacation, and so like I go into the butcher and I'm like, I need this specific meat to
I need a tri-tip.
Make this fancy dinner, or we're like, what sounds new and exciting, and we're like watching the Food Network channel and they use some crazy type of bread, and I go over to the bakery that's down the street and I start prying them for information. Like, do you have a bread that's like this? Which I live down in the River Market in Kansas City, and we're starting to see all those little things pop up. So now there's like a little bakery and there's a butcher shop on the corner, and there's all those little specialty stores that popped up that us millennials love to go in and buy.
Yeah, and I think after lockdown, it'll be a yearning of people wanting those Asian flavors or things like that. Because last night we were all craving pho or pho.
I wanted that for my birthday. That was supposed to be my birthday lunch. I was craving it too.
And I wanted that. And so the ones up here are closed.
Ours were closed too.
So we were so sad. We ended up getting pizza.
Oh, man, that's a good
I think
second.
people have a yearning for those things. And when it does open, like people will be flourishing to that area that you're talking about, CJ, just to get those items that they couldn't have for a while.
Right. And there's also the whole adventurous eating trend. Like,
exactly.
It's all on TV. You see it everywhere, right? Like ugly food is like this trend that's delicious food that maybe doesn't look the best or what. And I mean, I think that kind of eating is kind of new.
I did almost order that box that was like the outcasted vegetables and fruits that they'll
Vegetables?
send you.
Yes, yes.
Because people won't buy them because they.
Don't they call it like imperfect or something like that?
Yep, the imperfect vegetables.
Yeah,
I lived in
that's
Canada.
That repurposing. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Canada about 10 years ago. And here in Kansas City, I feel like we just had some, just kind of basic food, right? We had Italian, we had steak. I went to Canada and I ate Ethiopian food and amazing Indian food and Greek and all of these things that were like truly authentic. And I've come back home searching for those things and how to make them. So, I mean, that to me makes sense, that whole evolve, how it's all evolving and people are getting more adventurous, especially the millennial, section of people. So
yeah, and retailers know this. A lot of the retailers, and you'll see that certain aisles will be dedicated to a certain ethnic variety because
now there's
it depends on where you live.
Mexican, or Italian, or I said Italian.
This has been awesome. So we've hit on, ethical and responsible, evolving landscapes, the growing food and safety regulations, global wellness, generational divide, technology, all the good stuff that consumers are looking for and that food manufacturers need to be aware of. Is there anything else that you want to add before we call it a day?
I don't think so. I think it'll be interesting to recap here in a few months. Maybe we can recap this because I think there's going to be a lot of change. And some of those bigger, higher ones will still be prevalent, but the different trends down below, like the micro trends, will have evolved and changed. So,
and that is definitely something listeners can look forward to. We'll dive deeper into these trends throughout the rest of the season 1 of the podcast, and then even take some looks at how the pandemic shifted consumer purchasing behaviors, which ones are going to stick, which ones are going to revert back to the 2020 trends we have. Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
And you will definitely be back on here, I'm sure.
JoAnn, thank you so much for being here today. I've learned so much and I can't wait to talk to you in the future.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. All the information was awesome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you to everyone for joining us on our maiden voyage of A Fresh Perspective, a podcast that is about everything food. If you need more information on what consumers are doing, what they're buying, what they're not buying, what's changing, or you just want to see more videos of us, just haven't had enough, you can go to thebakerstake.com, our blog, where you can find all of that, plus recipes, plus troubleshooting, and more. Thank you guys for listening.
And don't forget, keep creating.